What's up, everybody? So, if you've been paying attention to my Facebook or Twitter, then you've been seeing me starting to post on my blog again, mikeymichaels.blogger.com or something like that, or blogspot, whatever. I've been posting there because unless you've been under a rock for the past month or so, then you know about Occupy Wall Street. Now, it's not that I've never heard of activism, right? And you kind of got this general idea that activists were these hippie type people, very bohemian, come and go with the wind and, just like, whatever, it's cool, smoke weed and stuff like that, right? But here's the thing. I'm not that person, but I am an activist now. Or at least I will be. My first protest is Saturday. So that'll make it official, I guess. But Occupy Wall Street has been going on for a few weeks now, and the message has spread far and wide and so powerfully, thanks to social media, Facebook, Twitter. And it's become this movement all over the country now. And every city is, doing their thing. So when I learned about Occupy Wall Street, it immediately struck me as the most genius thing I'd ever heard. I gotta be honest. And I think it was really just the grandness of it, the scale. Because when I caught on, there were already thousands of people that were actually occupying Liberty Park, Wall Street, all that, and protesting. It was such a huge presence, and it's nothing that I'd ever seen before in America. Not at least since the time I've become cognizant of world events, current events. I guess that's the whole point of that part of school. You start doing current events. It's supposed to get you paying attention to the news and shit. But I don't really remember anything like this before. Not happening here in the US. So it's like, oh my God, whatever it is, it must be so serious to have so many people that passionate about it that that's what they had to do to express themselves all together too. That's wow. So I Googled it. I've talked about that before, and how significant that is in our culture now. I Googled it. I immediately started looking for Occupy Fort Lauderdale. It was like, wow. And everything happens for a reason. It happens in this time because look how long it had been going on. Because for me, this is like day 4 for me. How long had it been going on? I had really not heard about it, and then even when I heard about it, it was kind of like, huh? Until I really, looked and saw that, oh wow, people are really occupying like this area, like for real. Like shit you see in the movies for real. And that's what got me to then look, finally. And then it had spread to other cities. Other cities were doing it. So that's when I looked it up and I said, I have to see what this is about because this is serious. This is my generation's thing now, you know? Because before us, there was, the Berlin Wall. And before that, I don't know, uh, civil rights and shit like that and the wars, like that was significant happenings for those generations, and it always involved a lot of activism, you know? So 9/11 was, the first thing, for our generation now becoming adults. Like this happened and, we can remember the time and the place and how we felt and, we're living through that now. But it was not, for some reason, enough of an issue for activism to spread like this within the country. You had protests going on here and protests going on there. But this is protests in Miami, Fort Lauderdale, Orlando, Tampa, Jacksonville, Tallahassee, Atlanta, Raleigh, Boston. It started in New York, Chicago, Indianapolis, San Francisco, San Diego, Phoenix, Ohio City, fucking Juneau, Alaska, and what's the other? Anchorage, Alaska. They have an occupied Anchorage. How can that be like the most mind-blowingly significant thing going on for us right now as a society, that this is happening? So I found Fort Lauderdale. Our first event was Saturday. This past Saturday, today's the 13th. So whatever the Saturday was before today, because it's technically Thursday now. But I saw that, and there were only a few dozen people that had been like confirmed to go. So I liked it. And I said, you know what, I'm going to attend it. And by that time, some 300 people had been confirmed to attend. Now, I think only about 200 people actually showed up at the first meeting, but it was really powerful to be out there. And like I described in the blog, I was in the parking garage because they had been meeting right there down on the corner. So I just turned right there into the parking garage to go and park. And as I came across, toward the end that they were at, you could hear everybody speaking together. And it's like, well, what is he telling them? Like I said in the blog, if I hadn't already been intending to be there, that would have drew me in. That would have drawn me in. To hear all those people talking together like that. I'm gonna just back up off my cookie. Back up. Thank you. That's my dog. And she sees me waving the cookie around as I'm talking. It's funny. What was I saying? Damn, I forgot. I really forgot what I was just saying. Because I was talking about how incredible the movement is, but exactly at what stage in that I was at, I just completely forgot. Because she was like all up on my arm trying to get my cookie. I was my fault for waving it around while I'm talking. So I found Fort Lauderdale. Right. Occupy Fort Lauderdale, I was coming across, and they were all speaking together. I was like, wow, this guy must be an incredible leader to have people already repeating stuff. I thought it was a chanting thing that was going on. But it was actually this incredible tool called the People's Mic, which is when someone's speaking and you can't really hear them, you say, mic check, mic check, mic check. And then the person will start to speak in shorter phrasing, okay, so that they could be repeated easily by the people who could hear them. And then by having all those people repeat that, people who couldn't hear would now know what was said. So I thought that was very interesting and let me know right away that this whole thing was started by some very smart people. So anyway, at this meeting, everyone's talking about how mad they are and the things that they thought that happened and why it was so bad, and why they want change. And that was interesting because people shared a lot of stories. A lot of people who have gotten educations, they can't find a job, and people who have lost their jobs for one reason or another, usually some kind of corporate movement going on that caused them to lose their jobs, or how people get upside down in these houses with these mortgages that are completely ridiculous and the houses are now worth nothing. And how people who had been working so hard all their lives to achieve the American dream are not having everything taken away from them because of what happened. So that was very powerful, and there was a meeting that was scheduled for the very next day. Like we immediately had a second assembly the next day, but this time we were superiorly productive as a group. What we achieved that day. You know, Everyone came together at the park, and we talked for a little bit about what we wanted to do, and then we split up into these groups in order to support, this movement for us. We came together and formed a government. That's how it feels. It's like, you have facilitation, direct action, outreach, legal, media, and platform, or message, statement, whatever, you know. And we split off into these groups. We talked about what we thought our groups should do, and and how to do things. And that took about hour and a half, and then we came back together and we shared that with each other, and all of a sudden it's this organization. It was really great to achieve that. And then I joined the group facilitation because basically what we want to do is help to make everything go really smoothly, you know, to make sure that the conversations that are being had are fair, and aren't just dominated by one person or one a group of people, just just a few people who keep going back and forth at it, and nobody else is really saying anything. No, we're trying to get everyone engaged, and I really like that. I really need that. And that's a part of me that's not being fulfilled as a massage therapist. I deal a lot with energy and helping people and healing them, but I don't get to exercise that part of me that desires, to be a leader, I guess, and form an organization. So being part of facilitation, it helps me to do that because I like to see people get together and work together and achieve things. I think that's like humanity's best quality. Us being able to come together and achieve amazing things, you know, and the things that we do individually are equally amazing. So we did that. We came together. We formed this group. You know, there was a push for doing something on Saturday the 15th because we knew that it was a big day for all the other organizations across the country, you know, protesting all together on the same day, all across the country. We had to get in on that. If we had waited to do more planning and organization before doing that, we would have totally missed the boat on that. Totally missed the energy. And missed being part of history, really. Because that's when the whole world is now going to be looking at the United States and see not just, small towns and, other cities out there, but like almost every major US city has an Occupy movement organization now in solidarity with Wall Street because we believe in what is trying to be communicated and what is trying to be done. You know, I saw a little thing on CNN, like online, a video that had been posted to Facebook, and the people that they're talking to, well, at least the conservative people, like you completely like you're so ignorant. It's dumbfounding. Like you really understand the meaning of that word now when they say dumbfounding. Like I just what else can I say to express how much the blatant just no face, just no depth kind of thought that you're having. Like how do I express my disgust with that? But it's dumbfounding that we say we're against corporate greed, and you think, oh well, you're all socialists and communist hippies. You just want to take from what everyone else has because you're too lazy to get your own or do your own, and that is not it. No, I resent that. Like, everything working is working just fine for you, so it must be working just fine for everybody else. And if you don't agree with the way that things are working, then something's wrong with you. That is their mentality. It's like, but you saying that to me, but when my mother is working 2 jobs, how is she not trying? And it's not like we lived an extravagant lifestyle that she was trying to maintain. That it was just maintaining. Sometimes you ain't had no light. Sometimes you ran a little short on food. And a lot of times you gotta borrow money in order to make up the money that you need to pay all these bills. They bill you for every goddamn thing. Everything. Everything. Right? You live in an apartment, you don't have the money to buy it, so you're renting, right? And they start you, like, say you start off, oh, it's just something like $750, right? But then they raise that shit every year you're there. So if you've been there for, like 10 years, you started at $750, and by the time you move out, you own about $1,000 for the same place you've been living in since you got there. But you're now paying this much more. Like, but I didn't get a raise. You know what I'm saying? I didn't get a raise at work. So you keep jacking up my expenses and they keep paying me the same. What am I supposed to do with that? And then you wonder why people turn to illegal activity. Well, this is why. You can, if you haven't really already been set up, and if there's not like a perfect storm of circumstances to help you, do something really brilliant. I'm talking about, when that particular person may have been really gung ho about the idea, and they really did their research and they really worked on it. I'm not talking about the people who just slack off. I'm talking about the people who really genuinely try and they get shitted on. Because they got screwed on this deal, or somebody had a grudge and spoke out against them for whatever reason, and by word of mouth, word of mouth is very powerful. So, all of a sudden, everything they had is now gone. What are you supposed to do with that? It's like, yeah, though sometimes those are breaks, but then it's so hard for you to get back up because the system just continues to pile things on top of you. Because you need to, in order to live now, you have to have resources and shit. So if you want a job, if you just want a job, you have to have a vehicle. I know up north, public transportation is better, but down south, it's kind of iffy. A lot of people use it. A lot of people have to use it because they're not really getting paid that much, But you got this car so that you can have this job, but you need this job to keep paying for that car so that you can have a job, so you can have a car, so that you can have somewhere to live. You can buy food to eat. But being this sentient creatures, being self-aware and needing to explore that, and our art needing an outlet, we created this entertainment industry. And it's always existed. I'm not just talking about modern times. I'm talking about back in the day, even you hired people to come sing for you and put on plays and stuff because we need to be entertained. So a lot of times we say, well, entertainment is not necessary, but I mean, there comes a you need to do something to entertain yourself. But let's say you don't have cable, so you don't have that bill. Because I don't have that bill. I don't. You know why? Because I can't afford that shit. Even as well paid as I am now, that just got here. Just. And sometimes it's still not enough because there's every little thing. When you're paying nearly $100 in gas, not even every other week. Okay, it's like a week and a half if you really drive really carefully. Because I got a sports sedan, and it guzzles gas. So, it's kind of hard to say, well, like, I could have been doing better to afford $100 gas bill, but what can I do? I need the car so that I can work. And I can't really work to earn what I need if I don't have a car to get there. I can't be going down to Miami on the bus to get to the spa. Do you know how long that's going to take? I have to leave hours before I needed to be there. That's what public transportation is down here. So having that car is essential because it gives you flexibility. So you can work multiple jobs, which I have done before. And still, it's not enough because you have to pay this rent and you have to pay the car note. And of course, you can't drive the car unless you've already paid for your license and got that. And you are going to pay for the insurance on the car. Because in Florida now, if you don't have insurance, the insurance company is going to tell the state. And because it's a law that you need insurance, the state is going to tell you you can't drive your car unless you buy this insurance. And how are we going to make sure that you do that? Well, they're going to tell us when you don't have insurance, and then we're going to cancel your license. We're going to revoke that bitch. And, You know what happens if you drive around with no license. You know, especially if you've already been in illegal activity. Like, it's not gonna go well for you, and it happens a lot because it's just another expense. Now, I don't have cable. Okay, so I have a phone, a smartphone. This is how I uploaded this. You know, I have the Nexus S4G, right? And yes, I rooted it so that I could turn on the 4G and connect it wirelessly to my computer and use it as a modem to access the internet. Yes, I did that because I pay for unlimited data, okay, on Sprint's network. That's what I'm paying my $105 a month for. And then they talk about, oh well, you need to pay another $30 to use the hotspot. Fuck that. Why? I'm already paying you for unlimited data. So what does it matter, to connect another device to mine or not? You never know if I would. And if I didn't have to pay another $30 to to do that, I might not have bothered to do it anyway because I would have gotten cable. Because then I have that extra money to spend every month. But you know what? Don't. So I have that bitch so that I can do that. And you force things like that because, like I said before, your expenses grow and your pay doesn't. If anything, it shrinks because if you lose your job and you get another job, hopefully right away, you may have to take a pay cut. And your pay before was barely keeping up. So if you're behind now, what are you supposed to do? But, apparently that's my fault, you know? And these guys, like Henry Kane, you motherfucker, a betrayer, and a self-hater. Like, how can you be black and say these things? I don't understand this shit. I really do not. The system is designed to hold you back. It is. And like I said, if you don't have like the just right things going on for you, then you're not going to turn it into big business to support yourself. So otherwise, you have to keep working for somebody. But here's the thing, and this is the root of what the Occupy movement is about and why it's specifically targeted at the top 1% earners in the country and the Wall Street, the institution that represents them. It's that you are so focused, okay? Greed has you so focused on drawing out as much profit as powerful as possible that you will do anything. And this is your main maxim in conducting business is to maximize profit. That's what you do. So if you need to fire a bitch so that you can save how much you was going to pay her to do her job in order to pay that out in dividends to your investors, there's a problem. That is not right. That is not ethical. So, and you may remember from a couple months before how the Verizon workers were on strike because they were going to lose benefits. And people were like, they should be happy they have a job. No, 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 no. Just because I have a job, in a time where it's rough does not preclude you cutting back on my benefits because then that puts me in even more unstable situation than it already is. Why? Because you're trying to maximize profits and you don't give a fuck about anybody who's working for you. These people are the people that are actually creating industry. Fuck what you heard. Business people, all you're doing is you are finding ways in order for us to maximize our creative outputs. And we turn that into an economy and a way to live. But now it's so much concentrated on the money that it doesn't matter anymore about who's actually living. And I don't understand how you can be okay with that. It just does not bother you at all that, you know, you need to cut, 300 jobs in order to still go on that European vacation next month. How is that okay? You know, like I said, they're trying to call us these like socialist and communistic hippies or whatever, but it's not that I just want to take all that you have. I respect that you earned what you have to a certain amount. Because at what point is the money not enough for you already that you have to continue to rape people? I don't understand that. You made $1 million. Why do you feel the need to fuck people to get an extra $0.2 million or extra $0.3, extra $0.4 million? Like, why is that necessary? You know, I get that things are up and down and you make your own way, but a select group of people should not be choosing to use their creative manifestations, corporations, to keep other people from doing that. Because that's what you're doing. You're suppressing and trying to squeeze out as much as you can at the same time. You know, like pressing coffee or something, like getting juice. You're juicing people. You're juicing the people. But that's what it is. And not realizing that you're killing off the people who are feeding you. You're biting the hand that feeds you, because the problem that we're having right now is that people don't have money to spend. So companies are like, oh, I'm not going to make as much money as I did last year, so I need to cut back so that my savings can make up with the profits and I can grow. Because then that makes my company still look strong. That makes no sense. That don't make no sense. Because then all you do is you add to the issue. Now there's more people who don't have money to spend. And so what do companies do? They start to cut more. We can't keep doing that. I don't think y'all see. You just can't keep doing that. And then they push this whole credit thing, because why? It was another way for them to make more money. And it's the very thing that is like killing us right now. Because they developed this whole credit system. We run up all this debt, all this money we owe now for that credit that we got before. It's killing us. And we're not supposed to be mad about that. I'm just saying. There's not anything wrong with capitalism. There's not anything with people trying to create a business, and do something. That's fine. But I mean, when you get to the point that that means more to you than helping to support your society and perpetuate itself, I mean, come on. That's crazy. That's insane. You got to realize that. There's no way we can continue to sustain our civilization under those principles. That's why you have a revolution. And that's what it is. Okay? It's a revolution. Because now that we recognize this issue that people have with greed, boy, you got to look at the master tool now, which is the second part of what we're against, is the way that business is now trying to influence government. I mean, it's not really new, okay? Just to make that clear. It's not really new. Money trying to influence leadership in order to make more of whatever money wants. You see what I'm saying? It's not new, but that's what's happening now on a grand scale, and it's killing us. So, undue corporate influence over the government is intolerable because you should not take up these positions under the pretense that you are going to carry out the functions that we expect of you when we elected you, and you betray us by pandering to the interests of the few just because you're as greedy as they are. So because they have resources that they can give to you so that they can get what they want, you're going to take it. Because now you're trying to be an entrepreneur and turn that into a business of securing for yourself. I was researching some African. Really, I was looking for a name because at the direct action meeting last night, Jason brought up the flash meditations. And I felt so strongly about it that I wanted to like create my own organization so that would be like, excuse me, just the thing that we do is take more active measures like doing a flash meditation to change the energy, you know? They say prayer works. Well, I mean, meditation, prayer, it's the same thing. It works. Amen. Okay? The other thing is that we will have to also go the way of the Tea Party and become our own party and get our own officials elected to make a change from within the government. You know? Because we, the people, formed the government to service us. So you can't now cut out the majority of the people just because you're as greedy as the people who are holding all the resources to begin with. That's wrong. So connecting back with the uh, African names, because I was looking for African names for my group, I don't know, it led me to look for uh, African moral theory, I guess, is what I was looking for. Because the key thing about what I was saying before about the government is that you're acting immorally. You are unethical people. And in African moral theory, unethical people aren't people. You're still a human being, yes, but you're not a person. You're not a good person, and good people aren't worth it, right? Or that's not what I meant to say, huh? I guess if you're not good people, then you're not worth it. That's what I'm trying to say. So, if our intention in forming this government was so that people representing our interests can get together and take care of it for us, and you turn your back on that to only listen to the minority, because you feel that you need to gain as much resources for yourself as possible. You know, you're selfish, and you've turned against the purpose of what you were sent there to do. It's wrong. So I hope I've cleared that up in our reasoning for doing this. It's not that I begrudge you for your wealth or your success. No, I am offended by the fact that you could think so little of me, not knowing me, okay? That it is okay if I have nothing and you have everything. When I'm I am the person that supports the tool by which you have gained what you have. So now you're also being ungrateful. You should want to share, because if I have more to share, then I will. Hello, somebody. If I had more to share, I would have more to share with you. And it's a cycle, so that everyone can get a little of what they want. I don't think that's so much to ask. They say that, well, the government shouldn't be regulating businesses. I think the government should be regulating businesses, because it's already been proven that if they can get away with fucking us over so that they can get more money, they will do it. God damn it. And then when they run up their own debt too much, that they might actually fail and collapse the system that they have built around themselves. You don't think that's wrong? The fuck? So, fuck all those people, okay, who say that this is about taking from the rich and giving to the poor because, they're too lazy. No, 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 no. This is taking back from the rich what they took from the now poor. Because you stole that shit. And you will continue until you grind everything into dust, and then you'll turn on each other. And if we were to lay down and allow you to do that, then we didn't exist. We didn't earn our place in existence. We didn't deserve to exist. Because what is the point in saying that you have the right to create and share and learn things and experience things, but you don't take any action against people who would see all of that not happen for you? Didn't deserve it. Well, I'm not gonna be one of those people, because I like to write and I love to sing. I love music and poetry. I love stories. I love to read. And I love to watch TV shows and movies. I love to share in those experiences. I'm a very emotional person. So when I see something that is well written and acted, that does draw emotion out of me. And I enjoy that. I enjoy that. And when I'm outside and I get to ride and I walk and I communicate with people and interact with them, and like when I was in college and I joined the step team, and I found my spirituality, like I am grateful for that. I love that. And I think that when our founding fathers said we want life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness, that is our right to do that. I think that's what they're talking about. We should all be able to do that without worrying that we may not make it to the next day. That is no way to live. And that is how people feel right now. You are constantly worrying about what is going to happen next because you have no job security, you know? Or you've already lost your job. Or even worse, this is the worst, okay? Because if you're fucked, you know you're fucked, okay? But that you're underemployed. So you're not completely unemployed. So you don't really collect. You don't get to collect any money on that, okay? You get no help. But you're also not being paid enough that you can support yourself. That's wrong. People cannot survive under that. It's gonna collapse. But this is the system that they perpetuate. And anybody who tells you otherwise, they're part of it. You know? And it may sound kind of conspiracy theorist, but it's true. If you allow them to continue to just take without any consequences, you know, and keep in mind, we kill people, okay? Corporal punishment. I know that's a whole nother subject. That's gonna be a whole nother video, because I felt very, very strongly about Troy Davis, and that's really what got my mind in activist mode now, because I had been very passionate about things. Well, I should say I had felt very strongly about things before, but I didn't. It didn't really start to burn as a passion in me until Troy Davis, because that was blatantly rigged against him. That was completely against him. There was no justice in killing him at all. At all. And I don't care who you are. You cannot look at that situation and say that that had been carried out fairly. You could not. And if you could, then I mean, then like the Africans say, you are a bad character. He, she, or it is a bad character. Because the most important thing to you should be other people. You know, fuck this money, these cell phones, these clothes, where we live, any of that. You know, you can't take that with you when you die. What makes your life meaningful is other people, your family and your friends, and even the people you become enemies with. You know, like that is what makes life worth living. Not your yacht, not your car, not the clothes that you wear or your jewelry. I mean, that's a part of culture, but as the material things being more important to you than the culture that was built around them, you're way off. You need to check yourself, reevaluate that, because that's not healthy. Obsessing over material objects. That's crazy, actually. That's kind of crazy. Think about that, because in the most extreme way, hoarders. We've built a culture of hoarding. You hoard the money. You hoard the goods. You know, all the name brand, highly, socially valued things. See, that's what they've done. They've started equating monetary value with social value. How much is this worth to you, at the masses? How much are you willing to pay me for this? It's terrible. Like, that's your reason for living. It's pitiful. That's really what it is. That's pitiful. You know, everybody everybody likes treasures. Yes. You enjoy eating certain foods, and you enjoy leading a certain lifestyle. Okay. But that that is all that you're living for. Like your life isn't worth living without the lifestyle. What? You have no other meaning in life but your house and your car and going out to fancy parties? Wow. You should be ashamed of yourself. You should probably. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say that. But I'm pretty sure y'all pretty much know what I was going to say. If you don't get it, don't worry about it. If you do get it, ha ha ha. I'm sorry. No, really. I don't mean to offend anybody. I was suicidal once. I'm perfectly okay with admitting that. I've come to terms with it and the issues that led to it, so it's fine. But I know some people are still crazy, so I shouldn't have said that either, huh? Yeah, well, I'm not. I feel okay saying that because, like I said, I was suicidal, so I feel like I was crazy then. Yes, I was crazy, so I feel okay calling you crazy. I was there. Not like I don't understand, but I mean, come on, that's crazy. Just as crazy as hoarding all that shit. Hmm. And I'm not saying, again, I'm not saying that, there's nothing, that there's anything wrong with creature comforts, but I'm, what I'm saying is that when you're willing to hurt other people directly or indirectly, because that's how greed works, is that it's usually kind of indirect. I want it all, so I'm going to manipulate people to get whatever I want. Doesn't matter what happens in the meantime, so long as I get what I want. There's a problem with that. You can't tolerate that in society. I mean, that's why we arrest people for stealing shit. So just because you went through a business, like, that makes it okay? It's not okay. That's what this movement is about. That what you're doing is not okay with us. You cannot continue just taking, and only, lightly sprinkling a little back and think that that's okay. No, that's not okay. Because then you don't even stare at it out of it after you already get my money. No, you have to manipulate the government so that you can get more money out of me. That is not okay. And that's all I'm trying to say. And that is not okay. And I mean, there are a variety of other issues that we'd love to see addressed, but I think that people are right when they said that the the core issue is big money influencing government because it fucks everything else because of money. That is the number one issue. Stop fucking with the government. Just be content. You took home $6 billion last year. Relax, nigga. Damn. Shit. That's a lot of fucking money. Like, what you finna spend all that money on? Seriously. Because then you gonna die. And you don't get to take it with you. It stay right there. Shit, man. that bad. Capitalism is like the worst thing that ever happened to people. Why? Do you see what kind of problems this has created? How many people have lost their lives over money? Think about that. And I'm not just talking about like, getting held up. That's really fucked up because that's a personal one-on-one thing. It doesn't matter whether or not you know me. That's personal. Come on. That was personal, bro. Like, you picked me. Oh, I'm gonna take his shit. Give me. That hurts. That's fucked up. Come on. Right? But now they do that on a mass scale. Fucking help everybody's life for some money. Killing people. Killing people. Because you owe me money. Man, it's so selfish. Wow. Wow. I'm glad I really came to that revelation. I knew what I was mad about now. Well, I knew what I was mad about before, but being able to talk it out and verbalize it really helps me narrow that down to exactly how I was feeling. Because, we're complex creatures. So, and that was very complex. I even forgot my place one time. Remember in the beginning? Because I told her to stop, trying to get my cookie. So yeah, I remember that. You forgot. But yeah, I just really felt a need to get that out. Okay, fine. You can have a little piece. It's oatmeal, okay? It's good for her. No raisin. I get the raisins. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I was saying that I just really felt strongly about that. I was very passionate about that. I really got into it that one part. Mm. Mm. Because I was talking about the collapse of the system. That's where it's heading. If it doesn't change, if this movement doesn't change anything, that's exactly what's going to happen. I think there will come a point where the movement will reach critical mass when we have the most people's attention that we will ever have. And that will be the moment. It's kind of like a theory a friend shared with me today after the General Assembly, the third General Assembly, when he said that the Mayans believed that there was a great shift in consciousness for our people, you know, ever so often, and that's what the Mayan calendar is really about. People theorize that it was predicting that it's going to be the end of the world, but I think that maybe it's just the ending of the world as we know it in the beginning of something new. Because when you think about it, like I said before, how much I love that humans can come together and achieve something, and how amazing that was. You know, it's because it is possible that that was something that happened to move us from Chrome Magnum and whatever, and Neanderthal to Homo sapien. It was a great shift that we turned a corner, and it was something new, and it continues to expand. And so now we might be at that point again where more and more people have become progressively more aware of themselves. We're really contemplating existence, becoming aware of ourselves and each other. And we explore that through art, and that has grown and changed so much from point A to point B, that we very well may be on the cusp of that again now. And that maybe the Mayan calendar ending, sometime in 2012 will be, I guess, when they predict that another great shift would happen. I think that's kind of interesting, exciting, you know, in, a, in that metaphysical way. I know some people say it's crazy. You're entitled to your opinion. That's what our country is based on. I think that's important. Although I gotta say, organizationally, that can be a nightmare because some people just harp on every little thing. It's a struggle. It's a process. But yeah. If something like that were to happen while I was alive, to experience that, I think that would be incredible. And to the people who say that it's crazy, if you're still watching, then I say that I think that it's kind of crazy to not think that there isn't something greater beyond us. I mean, the fact that we can think about that, I think, says something, you know? And so, also, also regarding, I forgot because of that. I forgot what I was going to say. I don't know. What was I saying? So people saying it's crazy, you got admit there's something beyond us. Nope, that didn't help. That did not help. I know I might look a little crazy, but that didn't help. You think I'd be able to like pick up right again where I left off? No, didn't work. Hmm. The end.